Hey everybody, I'm Sarah. Welcome to my channel. And today we're going to talk about National Novel Writing Month, also known as Nanowrimo, which I am currently doing, which is why I'm currently holding wine. For the 30 days of November, the goal is to write 50,000 words. And 50,000 words for a lot of people isn't necessarily a complete novel. For some people it is a middle grade novel, but if it's middle grade, because 50,000 words really isn't enough for even a young adult or an adult novel. But 50,000 words is, if you're an underwriter like me, then that might be a complete draft when you're done. That's what you all end up doing during the month of November. But for a lot of people, it's going to be like half or 2/3 of their actual full draft. For me, my first drafts tend to run to 50,000 to 60,000 words. And people all around the world do this, all around the US, everywhere. The goal is just to encourage each other and everybody joins in on it. If you don't know, the difference between plotting and pantsing is that when you plot a book, you brainstorm in an outline beforehand, and then you sit down and you start drafting based on your outline. And so you do a lot of your sort of creative coming up with stuff when you're in the outlining stage. I'm not really an outliner though, not a plotter. When I try to do it, my ideas kind of run cold and it doesn't really work out. I tend to be more of a pantser or discovery writer. A pantser means that you write by the seat of your pants, which isn't that flattering of a name, but I didn't make it up. Maybe discovery writer. Some people call it planter, gardener, whatever. So a discovery writer is someone who doesn't have that much of a sense of what their novel is going to be beforehand. They might brainstorm parts of it. They might have a really solid sense of overall story structure and sort of use that as their guideline for what they're going to do. But in the end, they don't know every scene. They don't know every chapter. They don't even know the ending, sometimes not even the midpoint or what even is supposed to happen at the beginning. So once I finish this draft, this will be my third finished draft in varying stages. I've written a couple of other books that I haven't published yet, and those have been like somewhere in between being outlined and discovery written. I decided for this NaNoWrimo, first of all, because I decided to do it a few days before it started. Second of all, because not really much of an outliner, so I was just like, I'll just pants it, discovery write it, see how it goes. And it's hard. It's really hard. Trust me. Maybe don't do it, but maybe do it, because when it's great, it's really great. If you want to disagree with me, go ahead, yell at me in the comments. So you probably want to know a little bit more about what it's like to pants a novel during NaNoWrimo, because I'm guessing if you're watching this and you're doing NaNoWrimo, you probably have outlined because you're smarter than me. Yeah, so you probably thought ahead and said, I'm going to outline this book. I'm going to prepare all through October, maybe even September. I'm going to look at the scenes. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to have such a great novel at the end of this. Not me. I said 2 days before, might as well just like do it. I'm not writing absolute garbage, in case you're wondering. I'm not. There are a couple of things that I'm doing, I think, that have helped me to write this book discovery writer style, pantser style, and not ripped all my hair out yet. Just right back here, but it's okay. First of all, my book is essentially, if I'm going to pitch it, And Then There Were None meets Pitch Black, space, I don't know. I mean, I'm setting it on New Jupiter. Who knows if that'll stick. Right now, the book is basically science fiction in deep space in the far future. And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. So Agatha Christie writes sci-fi, however you want to, space murder mystery, except it's on a planet, because I don't actually like when they're in spaceships that much. Go figure. I'm following a story that already kind of has a plot line to it. And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, 10 people go to an island, technically 8 people, 2 people are already there, the butler and the maid. They all go there and then they start dying one by one. They don't know who's doing it. Every time they think they found the person that's doing it, that person tends to die. And so it can't be that person. It must be someone else. And the book is really riveting if you've ever read it or watched one of the movie versions of it. It's really good. I have that in mind, like, if all else fails, kill off a character every once in a while, and then make everyone really suspicious, make everyone have a dark past. Like, that's something that you could do as a discovery writer. Like, if you don't want to have to outline a book beforehand, but you want to discovery write under a fast draft timeline, you can do a retelling or some version of an established plot, and that way you can discovery write your little heart out without actually having to outline things. So you can still be surprised by what happens in your actual story, but you still get to discovery write a little bit. That was the one. I kind of am doing a retelling, so that helps you to discovery write. 2, I'm recycling a bunch of characters from a book that I stopped writing, or a story that I stopped writing. And this just came to me day one. I literally didn't plan it. As I started to write, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to use these characters' names. But then I started using the characters that I'd already written before. Some of them in the first chapter of a different sci-fi novel that I just quit writing and gave up on. Some of the other ones were from a sci-fi short story I wrote. And I also set it within the same universe that my most recent sci-fi book was set in. So I kind of was recycling some stuff that I already had up somewhere in here. Somewhere in here I had that stuff. And so I was using that, and that kind of gave me something to draw on when I would blank. I would just kind of be like, oh, well, I'll just pretend like I already know this character, or I already know this world. That's right, they eat this kind of food in that world. I'll just throw in some of that food. So there was already some, like, I guess you could call it established mythology that I was working from and pulling from. So those are a couple of ways that I was able to not completely mess up everything when it came to trying to write a Nanowrimo novel as a discovery writer without planning anything. Did you discovery write a Nanowrimo novel? I'll let you know at the end of the month whether it worked or not, but it's not maybe the best idea. It's not the worst idea either. I guess it's all about what works for you. It's probably easier to work from an outline. I think if I wasn't doing a retelling with some repurposed characters, I might be struggling more than I'm struggling already right now. I thought I'd give you a rundown of my first week's numbers so that you kind of know what it's like, in particular, to pants a Nanowrimo novel. And I never write the same amount of words a day. Yeah. Instead, what I end up doing is writing a lot one day and then writing way less the next day, and then I kind of go back and forth. I've been averaging about 1,600, which is about where on track you want to be. So day 9, I'm at like 14,000 words. Yesterday was day 8. I was 12,943 on day 8. I'm technically on track with the overall numbers, but it's not been easy. My top day, I wrote 3,200 words. And if you haven't guessed, I like bragging about how many words I write. Makes me feel better about myself. I really needed to write 3,200 words because day 3 I wrote... That's the only day I've written 0 words. The next lowest is 1,000, which is pretty good. Pretty good. Keeps you feeling okay. Keeps you feeling okay to write 1,000. But the day I wrote 0, I mean, we can make excuses for it. I was busy with family. I was babysitting. I was wine tasting. I went to a petting zoo and was feeding like a tortoise lettuce. Doesn't that count for something? I don't know. There was one of the days, day 5, earlier this week, day 5 of November, that I sat down, and this happens maybe not every time I sit down to write for Nano or just when I'm drafting a book at all, but I'll sit down to write and I stare at Microsoft Word and I just stare at the cursor blinking or my last sentence that I've written. I just can't write anything and it sucks and I suck and why am I doing any of this? Why can't I just do something else? I should just quit NaNoWriMo, stop writing this stupid book that I can't think of the next scene for. I don't know what these characters are supposed to do next. I should just go revise one of the other books that I need to revise, or you're never going to get published and you're never going to make it as a writer and you're never going to do anything with your life. And that is all going through my head as I'm staring at the cursor blinking. Yeah. So that happened on day 5 and I almost quit. I don't know why I didn't. And then I usually just am able at some point within 5 to 15 minutes of that existential crisis that happens that I just say, you don't get to quit yet, okay? Just get over it and write something. And I wrote 1,000 words. So I didn't write the full 1,667 or whatever, but I wrote 1,000, so I still did it. So I guess in conclusion, should you do NaNoWriMo? Yeah. So this is the last several years that I've known about NaNoWriMo but haven't done it. I didn't do it because I was currently drafting or revising a book where I was kind of in the middle of things and I didn't want to interrupt that to write a new book. But this year I just decided, F it, I'm going to just jump into NaNoWriMo even though I have projects I could be revising because I'm sick of revising too. Yeah. And because I just wanted to crank out another book and I wanted to have that kind of push behind me that would keep me from failing. But I think that NaNoWriMo is great for just being able to get over your BS and crank out a novel really fast that you can then spend months and months and months revising before it's ever going to be ready to query because you wrote it so fast and it sucks. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be great. I'm sure your novel's great. My novel's great. They're all going to be great. Don't worry at all. It's all going to be fine. And if it's not going to be fine, at least have some wine and enjoy yourself because it's a magical time of year. NaNoWriMo. This wine doesn't really taste that good, but I already opened it, so I'm just going to keep drinking it. I guess this video was very rambly, but it is my first video, so thank you for bearing with me, and I hope you found some of this helpful, and that if you're kind of in there in NaNoWriMo or you're wondering, should I do NaNoWriMo? By the way, it's kind of too late to start for this month if you want to do the full 50K, but you could probably get way more than you were gonna get done, so just start writing, just do it. Try to write 1,000 words a day or 500, you'll get somewhere, more than you're getting now. So just do it. If you enjoyed this, if you want me to keep making more NaNoWriMo videos about writing in November, about fast drafting, about discovery writing, about someone who rambles on incoherently so that you can't understand what they say, if you like any of that, then please let me know by liking, subscribing, or comment below. Any of those will work. If you're a discovery writer, let me know. If you're a plotter and you've come here to fight, then leave it in the comments. I will respond. I may not debate with you fully, but, you know, it's kind of an unfair fight because you'll probably have your points all laid out in an outline beforehand. I hope you'll come back to my channel. I plan to do writing advice, analyzing literature for writers. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. And in the meantime, happy NaNoWriMo, everybody. Can you see this? I don't know. See, it's excellent chart. It's really good. And I have all my days so far, and a heart is 500, and there's my key. But yeah, so I draw little hearts when I write 500, which is the good amount to write, and the other stuff. So, see, and that one's sad.